I didn't set out looking for anything today. No destination, no goal. Just the open road stretching endlessly ahead of me. Sometimes that's all you need. To keep moving, to breathe, to feel the wind brushing past your face and the sound of your tires carving their own rhythm on the asphalt. The countryside was glowing. Fields on both sides, green and alive, shimmering under a sky so blue it almost felt painted. Every push of the pedal was effortless, like the world had slowed down just enough for me to notice every little detail. The smell of fresh soil, the warmth of sunlight on my gloves, the faint hum of distant cars fading into silence. There's a strange peace in moments like this. You're not racing toward anything, you're just there. In between places, in between thoughts. Every rider I passed gave a simple nod, like we were part of some quiet understanding, that this, right here, is freedom. And then I saw it. To the right, a small hill breaking the flat horizon. It wasn't big, but something about it stood out. Maybe curiosity, maybe just that instinct that whispers, "Go see." I slowed down, watched the road ahead disappear into the distance, and smiled. Sometimes the straight path isn't the one you're meant to follow. So I turned my handlebar and took a detour. I didn't know it then, but that single turn would lead me somewhere completely unexpected. The asphalt vanished behind me, replaced by a soft, grassy trail cutting through open field. The sound of the tires changed, from hum to hush, like the earth itself had turned into a whisper beneath my wheels. The air felt warmer here, calmer. I didn't really know where this path led, but somehow, that made it even better. The ground began to rise gently. Each push on the pedals felt heavier than the last. My breath deepened, my legs started to burn, but I didn't mind. There was a strange rhythm to the climb, a mix of effort and peace, as if the ride itself was teaching me to slow down. Ahead, the trees began to appear, scattered at first, then gathering into a canopy that filtered the sunlight into golden streaks. Rays broke through the leaves and painted the path in shifting patterns of light and shadow. It looked magical, autumn showing off in shades of amber and green. I dropped a gear, leaned forward, and kept climbing. Somewhere to my left, the sky opened wider. Between the branches, I caught sight of colors dancing high above, red, blue, yellow, kites. They were small at first, barely visible, but moving gracefully against the sky. That's when I realized the hill beside me was steeper than I thought. For a moment I hesitated, but curiosity, as always, won. I took the turn, faced the slope, and pushed harder. The tires slipped once or twice, my legs screamed, my heart pounded, but I kept going. One pedal stroke at a time, until the resistance slowly gave way to momentum. And then, suddenly, I was at the top. The view hit me all at once. People scattered across the hill, laughing, running. Their kites soaring like tiny pieces of joy stitched to the wind. The sky was a perfect blue, and the world below stretched endlessly in every direction. For a second, I just stopped to breathe it in. Then I noticed the slope to my left. Smooth, green, calling me like a dare. I couldn't resist. I turned, let gravity take over, and the world rushed past in a blur of light and color. The wind roared in my ears, and for those few seconds, it felt like flying. At the bottom I looked back, the hill towering above me again, and I smiled. So I climbed once more, slower this time, savoring every turn of the wheel until I reached the top again. The laughter, the kites, the open sky, everything felt brighter now. I stopped, planted my feet on the ground, laid my bike gently on the grass, and just stood there for a moment, watching the colors dance above me. The horizon seemed endless. Rolling green fields, a calm breeze, the soft hum of life all around. Standing there, I realized something simple. I didn't find this place by searching for it. I just followed where curiosity led. And sometimes, that's all it takes to end up somewhere beautiful. After soaking in that view for a while, I walked back to my bike. The frame felt warm from the sun as I lifted it off the ground. I took one last look at the kites dancing in the sky, tiny colors against a sea of blue. The descent was slow at first, gentle. I wasn't in a rush. The air brushed against my face, carrying the faint sound of laughter from the hill behind me. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed something. A faint trail cutting across the slope, almost hidden by grass. It looked narrow, uneven, like a path that hadn't been used in a long time. Curiosity won again. I turned the handlebar and followed it. The smooth ground changed quickly. The grass grew thicker, bushes pressed in from both sides, and soon the light began to fade beneath the leaves. The sound of my tires shifted, from the soft hum of open road to the crunch of dry twigs and gravel. It felt like entering another world. Then suddenly, the bushes opened up, and I saw them, tall rock walls rising on either side. The trail split into two directions, left or right. I don't know why, but I chose the left. Maybe it was the way the light fell there, or maybe it was just intuition. The moment I turned, the view opened. Massive rocks, old scars of excavation, now softened by green. Nature had taken over. Vines climbed across the cliffs. Small trees grew where machines once stood. It was beautiful, in a strange, forgotten kind of way. I whispered to myself, "This place must have been empty for years." The path twisted and turned, dipping suddenly, climbing again. My tires rolled over loose stones and hidden roots. Every few meters I'd catch a glimpse of something new. A patch of sunlight breaking through. A bird darting between the rocks, or the echo of my own movement bouncing off the quarry walls. It was raw, quiet adventure, exactly the kind I love. I slowed down, trying to take it all in. Then, just ahead, a narrow trail split off again, almost hidden beneath the bushes. It looked small, almost secret, like it didn't want to be found. I had to see where it led. The branches brushed past my shoulders. I had to bend low to dodge the overgrowth. Each pedal forward felt like pushing through a forgotten doorway, one that nature had tried to close. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, painting everything in warm autumn tones. Gold, orange, and green, all melting together. It felt quiet, untouched. As I went deeper, the bushes grew thicker. The path beneath me started to fade, until it almost wasn't there anymore. Just grass, shadows, and the sound of my tires struggling through the wild. For a moment I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe the trail ends here. But curiosity has its own pull. I kept going, until I realized I was surrounded, trapped inside the brush. I stopped, took a deep breath, turned the bike around. The air was still, only the faint hum of insects and my own heartbeat. While finding my way back, I noticed something. Another split, barely visible, to the left. It felt like an invitation, and I took it. The new path opened into a grove of tall trees. Sunlight spilled through the branches in streaks of gold. The air suddenly felt wider, freer. And just when I thought the trail would lead me nowhere, it ended. A cliff edge, and beyond it, the old quarry, silent, overgrown, wild, like nature had taken it back. Bushes brushed against my arms as I rolled forward, their dry leaves whispering against my jacket. Gold, amber, and green flickered in the sunlight. It was like riding through a living painting. But soon, the bushes grew thicker, denser. The path tightened around me. Branches stretched across my way. I had to lean down, pushing them aside with one hand, while holding the handlebars steady with the other. It was rough, untamed, and somehow it felt alive. The light broke through again, A sudden burst of openness. The air felt wider, warmer, and I found myself out of the bushes, riding freely once more. To my left, something caught my eye. The sun was shining behind a tall wall of carved rocks, the edges glowing like molten gold. In front of them, great stones lay scattered, with bright green grass weaving between them. And there, right in the middle, a hidden pond born from the earth's own wounds. I stopped for a moment, resting my hands on the handlebars. It was quiet, only the sound of the wind against the rocks. This place, once loud with machines and dust, now stood silent and calm. Nature had returned, patient and forgiving. As I rolled forward again, my thoughts wandered. We humans, we dig, we carve, we tape, we chase progress. But in the process we leave marks behind, scars on the earth that tell our story. Yet, somehow, nature always finds its way back. It doesn't fight us, it waits. And when the time is right, it grows over the wounds we leave, softly, slowly, beautifully, until the scars turn green again. I kept riding, letting those thoughts drift with the wind. The trail curved ahead, sunlight flickering through the branches, and the silence around me began to feel almost like music. I watched every detail, the cracks on the stones, the shimmer of light across the grass, the rhythm of my breath mixing with the hum of the tires. A few minutes later, I noticed the path widening. Sunlight opened up ahead, the exit. I slowed down, unsure for a moment. Should I keep exploring deeper, or end it here for today? I smiled to myself. Sometimes, it's good to leave a little mystery behind, promising that I'd return again, another day. The feeling was incredible. As I rode further, the sound of the tires on gravel mixed softly with the wind. The sky above was starting to change, shades of orange melting into blue, and the light turning softer with every passing second. The ride today had everything. The adventure, the calm, the perfect weather. It felt like the kind of day you wish you could pause forever. Every moment from this ride started to replay in my mind. The climb, the colors, the wind, the silence. Each scene felt like a piece of a story I didn't know I was writing. A story that wasn't planned. But somehow, it was the perfect ending. The kind that leaves you both fulfilled and curious for what comes next. And though this is where this ride ends, the story isn't over. Somewhere beyond these rocks, the trail still continues, winding through places I haven't yet seen, waiting quietly for another day. Maybe next time, I'll follow it deeper. Maybe I'll find something even more unexpected. For now, I'll let this moment stay with me. The calm, the light, the sound of the wind. Because rides like this, they don't really end when you stop pedaling. They stay in your thoughts, in the dust on your shoes, in the quiet after the journey. And I'll be there on the next ride.